baby. Welcome to another episode of Why Won't You Date Me, a podcast where me, Nicole Byer, was trying to figure out why I'm still single, even though you could drive me to Utah, leave me there, throw everything out of my house. And when I come back, I go, wait, is this my house? And you go, no. And I go, okay. And then I roam the streets until I go, wait, that is my house. And then I move back in. My guest today...
Oh, no.
Usually they're dirty. Let me think of a dirty one. Okay, even though you could throw Cheerios in my mouth, come in my mouth and say, that's a special milkshake.
Ew.
My guest today is a Tony Award-winning actor you know as Mitchell from Modern Family. Also, I saw him in Take Me Out on Broadway. And honestly, it was so good. And I saw him in the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. And we went to the same school. And he is the host of the podcast Dinners on Me, available everywhere you stream podcasts. It's Jesse Tyler Ferguson.
Yes. That's why you need that coffee right there.
Okay, this is a venti iced coffee.
There's no ice.
No, because it was bought a while ago, and that's okay. It was in the refrigerator.
Okay.
And there's no classic syrup and 4 shots of espresso.
Shoot
me to the moon!
Oh, my God. And Nicole has shot out of the roof.
Wait, okay, Jesse.
Yes.
So you're married.
I am.
That's lovely.
It is lovely. It's lovely because I like the person I'm married to.
You know, I wish that for me. So wait, how did you meet? You met in a gym, right?
That is correct. We met at the Equinox in West Hollywood.
Oh my goodness.
But really, that's kind of like where the fantasy ends. I mean, we were both like fully clothed.
Uh-huh.
So Modern Family had just started. The pilot had just aired like a few days before. And Justin, my eventual husband, was he was studying for the bar exam. He's graduating from law school. And so he was also very interested in the fight for marriage equality at the time. That's when that was like really, churning along. Proposition 8, which had taken rights away from same-sex couples here in California, was like highly active. And, it was a touchy thing. And so he was getting very involved in that fight. So he approached me just to sort of say, hey, I think the Modern Family is going to do like really great things for this fight for marriage equality. And like, told me all these really beautiful things. And I'm like, how old are you? What's your name? Like, yeah, I was like, you're cute.
You like me? You think I'm going to be successful? Hello.
And he was like, kind of like got scared and ran away. But then we found each other on social media and I asked him out and he was like, I would go out with you, but I'm seeing someone right now, but we could go out as friends. And I told him, because I'm 10 years older than him. So it's like, and I've been doing that dating thing where it's like that ambiguous thing. Like, is this a date? Is it not a date? What's going on? And I was so tired of it. I was like, I have enough friends. And I took a pass. I was like, I don't need a weird, complicated relationship with a guy 10 years younger than me.
I get it. I get it. But I always go, I'm in. I love the mystery. I love going home being like, was that a date? Does he like me?
Yeah.
But smart on you to be like, I don't need any other friends.
But it took me a while to learn that. It did take me a while. And eventually I saw him again months later and I asked him how his boyfriend was. And he's like, oh, we're no longer together. I was like, great. So I'm going to take you out to dinner. And I think I even said like, this is a date. I was like, I'm not going to do the ambiguous.
Okay.
Like, is this a date? Is it not a date thing? I think he was just like really excited by my, I was just very specific with my needs.
I mean, I think that's smart. And I wish I knew how to do that. My therapist is always like, so if you tell somebody what you want and they run away, at least you know that they don't want the same things as you. But I'm like, but it's the running away part I don't like.
Yeah.
It's not nice.
No, it's not nice.
So after Modern Family came out, did you have like people in your DMs being like, Jesse?
Well, this is the thing because I met Justin so early in that process. Well, I mean, I basically did the whole first season. I was single. And then Justin and I started dating around the second season when the second season started. But I didn't have, people were really saying you should hold off and like just sort of let yourself be single during this time.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, a piece of me is just like really glad that I didn't. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's an opportune time to be really slutty, you know, because you're successful and like visible, and it's like, I can have whoever I want.
I mean, but can I? I'm also like so like, I mean, I don't want to say I don't have a great self-esteem because I do. I think highly of myself, but I don't have. I'm not the type of person that if I'm not 100% sure that you are 100% into me, I'm not going to even try.
Oh,
yeah.
What am I like?
What are you like?
I don't know. I think when I was younger, I'd be like, whatever. We're going to just throw shit against the wall and see what sticks. And now I'm like, I'm a little bit more cautious.
Right. Is it because you don't want to get hurt or just because you don't want to waste your time?
Oh, I don't want to get hurt. Yeah. Oh, I'll waste time. Oh, Lord. Oh, you better give me some time to waste.
Yeah.
I've wasted so much time on people. It's the getting hurt part where I'm like, oh, I don't want to be sad.
Right.
You know?
Right. But I mean, you've also, I'm sure, rejected people or said no to people.
Barely. Barely. I've rejected maybe 5 people in my life.
Okay, but those 5 people might have been sad that, you know, and it wasn't a personal thing for them, or maybe it was.
All 5 people I rejected were scary. In a way we're like, they weren't doing well.
Right.
They were on their own journeys. I don't think I was ever a thought. I think they were like, okay, on to the next lady.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they cared. But dating, as you get older, just gets harder. Oh. Wait, so you haven't done apps or anything, really?
You know, it's so funny. Like, right when Justin and I first met, I did download. Mm-hmm. Who knows? I put Grindr on my phone. Mm-hmm. But it was so new, I really didn't understand. I don't think Grindr even understood what it was. Like, it was like, oh, friends that are close.
Friends that are close, and none of them will have a face.
Right. But it was one of those things I was like, oh, I think this is something different than I expected it to be. And I wasn't active on it for very long. Mm-hmm. But I was still like, I did the whole AOL chat room thing. Like, I'm old enough for that.
Oh, okay.
I'll be 48 this year. So yeah, like in my 20s, early 20s, the AOL chat room was the thing that you would do.
I also did chat rooms, but I was a little younger. And my screen name was Hot Chocolate 808. And I would be like 13 being
Is
like—
808 the area code?
No, 8's my favorite number. Okay. 0 is my sister's favorite number. And I was like, better put on another 8.
Yeah, why not? Because otherwise they think you're an 80-year-old.
Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. You're like, man, this lady is old.
Yeah.
But I would just be like, I have big boobies and I'm 34. Oh. Which is insane. And I was just like, I don't know, trying to like catfish these men. I don't know. Like, I was just trying to like get them to say nasty things. So me and my friends would be like, oh my God, he said that nasty thing.
Yeah, I will admit, going into a theater chat room when I was in like my early 20s.
Wait, what's a theater chat room?
It's like basically the same thing as like, you know, dating chat rooms, but it's like for theater lovers. And I would like fish around to see if people had seen, like, you know, Broadway fans are like
insane people.
Mm-hmm. And so, you know, now they have these chat boards that you could check in on, and which are really super dangerous. And if you want to go down a bad spiral, just go on one of those when you're doing a play in New York. But I would like egg on people to be like, oh, has anyone seen the recent production of blah, 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 blah? And like, I would give like, I think Tyler Ferguson, the redhead, is like super talented. Anyone else think the same thing? And like, there would be people be like, overrated, you know? Like, I'd be like, oh, I don't think so at all. Like, argue with them about me, you know?
Wait, that's so funny to like go in like looking maybe to hook up with people, then you're like just arguing with him, being like, no, he's great.
Great.
I'm great. I mean, they're incredible. Like, that's so funny.
Pictures? Question mark. Oh my God.
I was on a Broadway chat room for a minute, or message board. It was for Rent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. People loved Rent. And
boy, do they ever.
do love Rent. I went to Amda when it was changing over from Rent as the favorite musical to Wicked.
Oh.
So like people would argue over which one is better, even though they are so different.
There's nothing alike.
So different. So, like, Wicked doesn't even have AIDS.
No,
you know?
I know. What's a musical without AIDS?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wicked. That's what it is.
Did you hook up a lot at Amda?
I dated my roommate.
Oh.
Who is so sweet. We're still friendly. Like when I see him around, like I always say hi. Mm-hmm. He hasn't changed really at all,
Oh.
which is crazy to me.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I basically was hooking up with my roommate.
I love that.
Did you date an Amda?
No, there was very few straight gentlemen there.
Yeah, I get it. I stopped myself as I was asked that question. I was like, this is a really stupid question.
Yeah, it was so funny. By the second semester, I was like living with my male best friend, Evan, and we like asked, we're like, oh, can we like live together? And they were like, yeah, absolutely. And I was like, wow, no pushback. And I was like, oh, because like we're not fucking and no one's worried about me getting pregnant or whatever.
Right. Yeah. They know what's up.
God, it was so. Did you live in student housing?
I did. I lived in a building on 86 between Riverside and West End Avenue. Ironically, now it's a nursing home.
Well, we lived in the Stratford Arms, which was a mental institution, I believe, that turned into an assisted care facility. And in New York, you cannot just evict people. So we lived with old people.
Yes.
And it was wild.
Yeah.
But I had the most fun I ever had.
I had the most disgusting apartment. Oh, it was so gross. We had mice, I think.
We had mice too, and cockroaches. And I remember once waking up to my roommate fucking her boyfriend who was in town. And I was next to the window and I was like, boy, the window's steamy. Have I told this story before?
No.
Okay. So I was like, oh my God, the window's like steaming up. How weird. And I was like, it's kind of like hot in here, like a locker room. And I turn over and her little toes are curled up in the air. And she was like, meh, meh. And I was like, oh. And I was so mad. I was like, how dare you have sex with me while I'm sleeping with like rodents running around and cockroaches. It was so gross. And I woke up and I leaned over the bed and I was like, let me know when you're done. I'll be in the hallway. I was so mad.
Oh, God.
Oh, Amda. Who proposed to who in your marriage?
Well, I proposed to Justin, but I definitely had the assurance that he was ready when I was ready to ask him. And I don't know if it was because I was older or like why it broke down that way, that he's like, you ask me when when you're ready. Which makes me think maybe he was ready before me. But also he's 10 years younger. I was thinking like, I didn't want to rush him into anything. I was like, let's just date for a little while. I don't want to like,
you got engaged 2 years in?
Just about, maybe a little over 2 years. We were on vacation. It was
in Mexico?
In Mexico. It was Sofía Vergara's 40th birthday, and she was having a big gathering of people I can't remember the name, the Mayacoba. Is that the name of the town, Mayacoba? I don't know. In Mexico.
I don't know.
Listen.
Is Mayacoba in Mexico, Mars? Get on it!
Mazatlan? No?
No.
Oh, yeah, Mayacoba.
Yeah.
Luxury hotel and residence.
Oh, that's the name of the hotel. Yeah.
Luxury.
What town is that? What town is it in? Do you know?
By Anda's
Playa del
bar
Carmen?
entry.
Playa del Carmen? I think it's in Playa del Carmen. I don't know.
We will get to the bottom of this.
Oh, these details really aren't that important. How about that?
But sometimes I get stuck on it. I'm like, no, I have to figure out this.
I know. I want to sound smart. So you can edit out all the the fumbling and then just go right to, wow, he really knows geography.
Wow, he knows Mexico so well.
But Justin and I went to Tulum. I do know that's where I was for a week before Sophia's. And so I was with Justin and I knew that was where I was going to propose to him. And I decided not to get him a wedding band or a wedding ring. We were going to get wedding bands eventually, but I was like, he doesn't need an engagement ring. So what I got him instead was a Rolex watch that had diamonds on the edge.
Ooh.
And then on the back of it, I had it engraved saying, spend all your time with me. Right? But now a Rolex watch isn't something you can just really slip into your pocket. So traveling to Mexico with it was tricky. I ended up checking it in my luggage, which was probably a bad mistake.
Rolex?
Yeah, a Rolex. Yeah, probably not the smartest thing to do. But then once I got to the hotel room, I was like, where do I put this? And we didn't have a safe in the room. And so I was putting it in the tube of the toilet paper. And I was like, that's weird. And I was putting it in different drawers. And Justin's also, being a lawyer was like, what are you doing? What are you moving? I was like, he's going to find this thing in a matter of days. So I was carrying it around with me to different dinners, trying to propose to him, but it was never the right time. Finally, there's this one morning I was like, I got to unload this thing. And so he was out enjoying his coffee, enjoying the view. And I just get out there and almost stubbornly like get down on my knee and like hand him this thing. And he's like, what's happening? Like there was nothing romantic about it at all. I was like, I gotta get rid of this thing. Yeah, do you want to get married? And he was like, So anyway, that's how I proposed to him. Not romantic at all. I mean, it was pretty. But then a few days later, we met up with Sofía and her group of people. And it was this big resort. And we weren't like really, I mean, in Tulum, it was sort of rustic. And now we were like, there was like marble floors. And like, it was just very beautiful.
Elegant, luxurious.
And I told Sofía privately, I was like, we got engaged. And she was really excited for us. Well, at the time, her boyfriend, this was before she was married to Joe Manganiello, but her boyfriend at the time, she was traveling with him. He also proposed to her on that trip.
Oh my God.
And it like made national news like within 3 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, it was like all over the press. And so like Justin and I weren't going to announce it or anything, but there was a piece of me that was like, God damn it, she really stole my thunder. Just within the circle that we were in. Like no one cared. Like literally the whole world was talking about her engagement. And so then that night we at this party, she was celebrating her engagement. Like then she wanted to say, I want to say something about you too as well. So she said afterwards, she's like, oh, and also my good friends Jesse and Justin just got engaged a few days. Well, as that was happening, one of her aunts was like walking down the set of stairs and fell, and she didn't hurt herself. But like all of the attention was immediately taken off of us again, and was like, "Oh no, Tia, are you okay?" And I was like, "Oh my God, we're never gonna catch a break. Like no one gives a shit about our engagement."
Reboot Modern Family. That's a perfect storyline.
Right?
That's so funny.
We could not catch a break.
Oh my God. You're like, what about us? We're important too.
So ridiculous.
God, that's so funny. Wait, Jesse, do you have any advice for single people? I'm single. Do you have advice for me?
Oh God, like what? Like just general advice?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
I just feel like as someone who's been I don't want this to sound braggy, but as someone who's been married for 10 years, I just don't even know where to begin.
No,
I feel for you.
It.
I will say I can give you like a shoulder to cry on. I feel for you. It's hard out there.
It's so hard.
What's the hardest part for you? Just meeting people in general, or like figuring out which app to like?
So I got rid of all of the apps in like January. And then I was like, I'm going to meet people in person. And then me and my friend Poonam went out and got too drunk. And I was hungover for 3 days. And I was like, well, I'm not sure how to meet people in person without getting shit-faced.
Yeah.
I guess I'll get back on the apps. Now I'm back on the apps. And it's
Do people know who you are?
Sometimes I generally date
How do you navigate that?
Straight men, and they don't.
Okay.
And then they love to be like, oh, I've seen you in one thing. And that was like, okay. And I'm like, okay. I guess I navigate it. Okay. It's vibes.
Yeah.
If you tell me too early, I won't like it. If you tell me too late, I won't like it. It's just, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But it has to just be like, it has to feel chill and cool.
That's all it needs to be. Truly. Yeah.
God, when did you guys decide to have kids? Were you like, all right, this relationship is solid. Let's throw a curveball.
It was an accident. No, we unplanned, totally unplanned.
Oopsies.
I think Justin seems to remember that we talked about it like even in the early days of dating, which doesn't seem right because I think that would have scared me. But maybe we had sort of discussed it. But I do know that when we were married, after we got married, Justin said, let's wait 5 years.
Okay.
Which, I'm really glad we did. I'm glad we got to have those 5 years of just like, being us and us being able to travel. But I do remember when after that 5-year mark came and went, I was sort of like, okay, like not because I was super itching to have children, but also I was just, I'm getting older and like, I just don't want to be like a super old dad.
Fair.
So I'm tired and I already was having back pain. I was like, let's just get this going. Let's just do it. So, and then after we had one, we're like, oh, do we really want to have a second one? I mean, every step of the way, we're like, are we really doing this? But we are, first of all, I have to say we're really good parents. We're great parents. He's a kick-ass dad. I'm a kick-ass dad. I really am so glad we did it. And I'm so glad we're done.
See, I mean, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I would never be like, I'm a kick-ass parent. I'd be like, you know what?
You don't know until you try it.
I've been a nanny.
Oh, have you? And you don't feel like you did a good job?
No, I did a great job. But like, it was exhausting and I didn't like it, if that makes sense.
But no, I've been a nanny too. And like, there's something about when they're not your kids. Yeah, I did. That was another one of my weird jobs when I was in New York. I was taking care. In fact, I was such a great nanny or Manny, or however you want to say it, that I got poached from another family when I was at the park.
In the park?
Yeah, I was with this family's kid, and then the families knew each other. And they're like, they basically like, so listen, how much are they paying you over there? And I was like, I ended up working for both families, but like they would get mad if like I was unavailable because I was being poached.
I love
that.
So
I was good, but I agree with you. It was exhausting in a way that I'm not. There's something about when you know that there's a time limit to the kid. Like when you start approaching that, like it's an hour before I get to go home, you start shutting down.
Yes, and I'm like, oh my God.
You don't get that it's an hour before I get to go home thing with kids.
You don't want my own.
Yeah.
Because I would like to go home.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
And when I nannied, it was like iPads were everywhere and iPhones. They'd grab my phone. I'd be like, no, you don't get to go on my phone. And then I'd be like, you don't get your iPad.
Yeah.
You have to play with your brother.
Yeah.
Or we have to go outside and do things. And I was like, I don't think I could keep up with that with my own kids.
I know. We're pretty good about not doing screens. We definitely have never done it at restaurants. Who's to say if that's going to change? I don't know. For a while, we're like, we're not even going to do them on airplanes. And I was like, oh, that's a big.
Yeah, man. Ooh, that is.
We caved real fast with that one.
Because it's a long time of like, all right, let's keep you entertained.
That's the first thing they get. That's the first thing they get on that trip to New York.
Shut up, please.
But, when you are like deciding, okay, I'm going to interact with you and I am going to like go outside, that shit's hard.
It's so hard.
And exhausting.
Yeah. One little boy that I nannied, he liked to help old people. He just loved old people. Whenever he saw a walker, he would run up to them and I'd have to scream, he's helping you. Because it looked like he was trying to push them over, but he was just trying to help them move faster.
Sweet.
He was such a little sweetie. Oh.
You really think if like you did not meet, if you met someone that you're like, I really vibe with you, is like no kids a thing that you like lead with?
I don't lead with it, but I just kind of hope that you don't want them because it's like if you're my age, almost 40, and you don't have them, hopefully you don't want them.
Yeah, no, that you do get past, like there's a threshold where after you get past it, it's sort of like, it's not so much a thing anymore.
Yeah. And my house has a lot of hard surfaces and I'm not trying to kiddie-proof a thing.
Yeah.
Like those little
we had to
plug
move.
thing. Oh, you did?
We had to fully move when we had
Really?
kids. Yeah. I had a great Spanish home in Los Feliz. I still to this day am so sad that I don't live in it.
Aww.
And but I have a great house now. But like I the only reason I don't live there is because I have children.
And Spanish homes are just hard. Everything's hard in
Everything's
them.
Hard.
Tiles.
And like, they were built like 100 years ago. So like the banisters are always like
very,
3
very
feet
low. You'll topple right on over.
That's right. Yeah.
Goodbye. Wait, so like nobody was slipping in your DMs and stuff?
Not
after
really.
Modern Family and after like.
Maybe a little bit. I mean, that summer after Modern Family started, it was kind of weird. I mean, the people were still getting to like learn what the show was. Also, I just feel like, I don't know if was Instagram really even around then? I know Twitter was, but like.
But no one's trying to like DM you via Twitter. I find it so wild that nobody was like, let me in.
I don't think so. I don't know. I kind of maybe, and I just wasn't noticing.
Maybe.
I had a really fun summer, that summer before I started dating Justin, and I was being a theater kid in New York again. Yeah, I got it done.
Okay.
I got it done. Don't worry.
Did you ever... I'm so worried. Did you ever do touring productions or did you only do New York and Broadway?
Only New York and Broadway. But I was part of, did you ever do Theater Works, like the shows that are like built for kids?
No, but I do know what it is.
Okay. So yeah, those are tours that would go out across the country. I got to do workshop productions of them. So like we would figure out the shows. And then once they were like kind of fully realized, then they would cast them for for them to tour the nation, but we would tour them like to like New Jersey. We'd be able to come home every night.
So you're not going too far.
We weren't going too far, but I was like and the thing about the TheaterWorks tours is you have to put the set together yourself. So we were also guinea pigs to see if like that's even doable.
Oh God.
So, we would sometimes be like, the set's too heavy and it's breaking my back. I'm like, well, now we know. And like but you still have to put it together for this production and,
God,
Newark.
That's so funny to think of actors being like, the wall, I can't. I simply can't put it up.
Truly.
That would be me. I'd be like, no, I can't.
It's rough.
Too heavy.
Again, another weird job I had. Yeah.
Did you ever hook up with anybody like in the cast, like of like things that you were doing?
Did I? I think I hooked up with a dancer in On the Town.
Ooh.
Right?
I love shit like that. It's so scandalous.
Yeah. He actually occasionally dances for, I see him in music videos occasionally still. I don't remember which singer he dances for, but someone cool like Christina Aguilera or something. I don't know. But I see him every once in a while. RJ was his name. Is his name.
RJ.
But I think that might be the only person I had like little showmances, but nothing ever happened.
It sounds like you're deeply professional, and I appreciate that.
I'm also afraid of being canceled.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Nobody wants to be canceled.
No.
I think it'd be bad.
I don't think I would do very good with it.
But also, who's actually getting canceled?
I know. There's
Except
a lot of
for
comebacks.
Paula Dean.
I know.
She got canceled and she didn't get to come
she
back.
She hasn't been coming back, no.
And I was like, come on, let her.
Yeah.
She's just trying to feed us all butter.
She just wants butter.
That's it. Just a little bit of butter and more butter.
I did. I mean, if this makes her feel a little less uncanceled, I did make her zucchini bread recipe the other day.
Oh, that's nice. Oh my goodness, Paula Dean, who probably is listening right now. She does have a very good pound cake recipe.
Does she?
Oh, yeah, it's just butter.
Butter, yeah.
It's so much butter.
Yeah.
What's the most romantic thing that you and your husband have ever done?
I mean, I feel like the watch that I gave him was pretty romantic. He's very thoughtful.
Mm-hmm.
I remember our anniversary lands in July when I was doing a play in Broadway. When I was doing a play in Broadway.
In Broadway.
Bless you. He
you.
snuck into my dressing room during a show and put pictures of us all over my dressing room. So when I got done with the show, I came up and there was just photos of us everywhere. That was very sweet. He's very thoughtful with like flowers and we do date nights pretty religiously.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, he took me away once to Carmel and didn't tell me where we were going. Like he's very, very thoughtful.
Where's Carmel?
Carmel's far. It's like 4 hours up north.
In a car you did it?
We did it in a car.
And then he just wouldn't tell you where you were going?
No. And I was blindfolded. No, just kidding.
For 4 hours. Kinky.
I was in the trunk, gagged. No, he's very thoughtful. I think he's more thoughtful than I am. Truly.
Oh.
I need to take a page from his book.
No,
I'm trying to be better about it.
It works.
You know what we do? We're really good about like on our anniversaries, there's like dumb like traditional things
like wood.
Exactly. And so like how do you make wood sexy? And for that year I had our front door remade. And there was like because it was a Spanish house, it was a crest that was on the door, and the crest would open up, and it was like a little,
little
window peephole. I had it remade with the J&J from our wedding invitation.
Aww.
So that's that I did that, and then he got me 2 avocado trees.
Wait, I don't know which one's more romantic.
I know, right?
Because I love avocado.
I know. And it takes forever for them to start fruiting.
Yeah.
And we moved away before they started fruiting.
Oh,
but
no.
the new owners of the home hopefully are enjoying the avocados.
Did you leave the door?
I took off the crest part and replaced it with the old one. But yeah, the door is still there, and it's very nice. It's very nice.
So on Modern Family, there were no gay writers.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah, for the first season?
The first season, yeah.
So did they ask you, were they like, can we say this?
They would clear things with me.
How did that make you feel as the resident gay advisor
right.
for all of gayness?
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, there was a responsibility with playing that role because you did sort of feel like you were representing an entire group. And I think both Eric and I did feel that. And then I felt it maybe even more so because I was actually gay in real life as well. So when the writers were asking me like, what do you think? How about you? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I can't even remember specifics, but I sort of felt like, oh, at least they're like, they want to make sure they're doing this right. And then it got to the point where I was like, y'all need to get some people in that room because I'm not a writer. I don't want to be in the writer's room. I have zero desire to be in there.
Also, you ain't paying me like I'm in the room.
Right. So they brought on a few people, and it was great that we had them there. But I was. I also feel like when I look back at that first season, I'm like, I can kind of see that there were no gay writers in the room, and not because they were shying away from things. I just feel like there was a nuance that they didn't have.
Yeah, an authenticity where
yeah.
it's like, oh, this is from my life. Because a writer's room basically is just telling stories all day.
Especially with that show, yeah.
And then adapting the stories into, words for actors to say. And it's like, well, if you don't have any stories about being gay or being in a gay space, how do you expect to write it?
Exactly.
Which is interesting to me.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question.
Please.
So you co-authored a cookbook.
I did.
Food Between Friends. So do you find food to be a love language?
I do. I guess a little bit. Yes is the short answer. I love eating out with people, which is why I love my podcast, because I get to take people out to dinners. But I just feel like there's something really wonderful about spending some time in the kitchen and gathering a group of friends together and feeding them. There's something so intimate about that.
Yeah.
And also terrifying at times. I'd certainly have like a group of like 5 or 6 recipes that I go to, because like I've also tried to do a big swing and be like, I'm going to try something totally different, and then I completely botch it and I have to like order in food, and so like that's also risky. But I do. I feel like I love providing for my family now that I'm a dad. Like I love making the kids lunches. So I guess it is a love language for me.
How many kids do you have?
2 of them. I got myself 2 of them.
Do you like them?
So far, so good.
Because sometimes you're like, well, how old are they?
Well, that's just it. One's almost 4, and the other one's will be 2 like in November. So they're pretty young still.
I would like the 2-year-old best. I like younger kids.
Yeah.
I love a baby. This sounds terrible, but I like when they like can't make a choice. Where it's like, I'm just going to hold you.
That's true. I mean, when Beckett, my older one, started like walking, he was, we just started pushing him over for a while because I was like, let's just slow this process down a little bit.
No, you can't walk.
No independence. No. Oh no, that's okay. We'll just hold you.
Funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I love when babies let you hold them. My little cousin is, I think she's 2 or maybe a little past 2, but she'll just let me hold her still, and it makes I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love a baby.
I know. I don't think the baby stage is my favorite.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm waiting for the personality to kick in.
That's what I don't like.
That's what you don't like.
No,
yeah.
How do you have an opinion? You've barely been here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Yeah. Well, I don't really necessarily want it from a 6-month-old, but like, when they start to like having ideas and like they're like expressing to you like what the world, how they see the world, that's really interesting to me. Yeah, Nicole has the I get it face, but also no.
Well, I don't know. They just like grow up and then they like start being rude. My friend has a teen and her teen is like not rude, but she'll say things and I'm like, ow, oh my God, Jesus Christ.
No, I know. I'm not gonna enjoy that part.
Yeah, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Wait. So you worked as a bartender during when Cats was on Broadway?
Yeah, I had a few like really weird jobs, but that was one of them.
How was that to like work in a theater being like, this is what I want to be on stage. I don't want to be serving drinks.
It's so funny because, a few things. At that time, the bar, I think now it might be different, but the bar in the Winter Garden was basically in the orchestra level. So when I did the first, we served drinks before the show, and then the whole first act would happen, and then we'd have to sort of sit there and like get ready for intermission, and we'd have an intermission rush, and then during the second act we'd have to like quietly put the bottles away and stuff. And so, but sometimes if there was a new Grisabella on, I would like, let me see how her memory is. So like. So I would like stay and listen to her version of Memory. And I actually kind of ended up learning to love the show. And because all the cats...
Learning to love the show.
Learning to love the show.
I think the longest running show before Phantom of the Opera, I think, took over.
Yeah. But it's Cats. Like some people like are like this. If there's one musical that like drives people crazy, it's usually Cats. I loved Cats.
Memory is a beautiful song.
Gorgeous song.
I think Jennifer Hudson should have won her Oscar for her performance in Cats. People really argue with me about this.
I do love that Jennifer Hudson like crawled in. Her interest was her crawling. Like even Dame Judi Dench was like, I'm gonna come in silhouetted, standing like a human. And Jennifer Hudson was like, no, I will come crawling in. Yeah, loved it. But so the actress playing the Cats would make entrances from the house. So the bartenders kind of like, we kind of got to know the cats. And we're like, okay, so at this part of the show, old Deuteronomy will come by and he likes to have like a half an orange juice with some soda water. So we would give him like, like little drinks to like, and they'd get annoyed if like it was a new bartender. They didn't know that like, oh, I always get like a cup of apple juice or whatever, but before this entrance. Anyway, so they got to know who I was. Around the same time was when they were casting the production that George C. Wolfe directed of On the Town, which ended up being my New York debut. I ended up being cast as Chip in On the Town, which was the part that Frank Sinatra played in the movie. But On the Town is known to be a big dance show. I am not a dancer. I can move fine, but I'm not a dancer. So all of the dancers in New York were like clawing for these parts. There are 3 great male roles in On the Town. And so, of course, all the people in Cats were trying to get into the show. Yeah. And my friend Abe, who I became friends with later, who was in the company of Cats at that time, told me this really hilarious story about they were all like backstage, just catty chorus boys and theater queens and like putting on their makeup, putting on their whiskers. And someone's like, has anyone heard about has anyone heard about On the Town? Does anyone know how the casting went? And then one of the other cats from down the way, sort of like putting their black on the tip of their nose was like, yeah, the bartender got it.
That is so funny in like just a specific way that if you like Broadway, you're like, oh, that is juicy. That's a real treat. Yeah. And I bet they were so mad.
They were so annoyed.
The bartender got it. Like, all right, memory.
Yeah.
God, that's so funny.
But it's also like has taught me a lot because, I've gotten to be on stage, luckily, a lot of times. And like I always I was like, well, who knows where all these people, the ushers and the people, the box office attendants and like the people selling the merch, like these are all, a lot of them are struggling actors.
Yeah, who just want to be in it.
They just want to be in it. I mean, I used to work at a gift shop on 44th Street across from Phantom of the Opera selling T-shirts, of mostly Phantom of the Opera and Cats and like whatever other shows were playing. But I would watch the actors walk by the gift shop on their way to their half-hour calls. And I would think, oh God, I hope that's me someday. And Take Me Out, the show that I got to win a Tony for, is on 44th Street, just about 4 doors down from where the gift shop is. And I walked by that gift shop every day on my way to work to do Take Me Out. And the manager that I had back then is still there. And so I pop in and say hi to Craig. And like, it was, it meant a lot to me. Yeah, that did not go unnoticed.
That's so magical. And like, what a dream.
Yeah.
When I finally got to perform at the Apollo, it was kind of like that because I lived in Harlem in like Morningside Heights, which to me is just Harlem. So if I like went shopping across 125th, I would walk past the Apollo and be like, one day. And then that one day came and I was like, holy shit, this is nuts. This is so wild. You were so good in Take Me Out. I went after there was a penis leak. So there was security right by the stage. And I don't know if you could hear it from the stage, but the audience was mostly horny 40-year-old women.
Yeah.
And during multiple parts, you just heard people going, Yeah. And it's such a poignant show filled with so many
big ideas.
Huge ideas, racial ideas. And it's like the locker room or the shower scene is so nothing.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Show a little dick on stage and you'll sell some tickets.
You'll sell some tickets. I know.
God, that's so
I know.
wild.
It was interesting because I was the only gay person. My understudy was gay, but I was the only gay cast member, and I became really good friends with this cast of straight guys, and I just adore them so much. But I was also and we're very supportive of one another. Like, they would stand in the wings and watch me when I was doing my monologue.
Oh, really?
But there was I can't be like. Usually when the nude scenes were happening, especially the big one where they're all showering, I'm basically the only person who's not on stage, and so it's like I can't be like standing in the wings watching this scene. Yeah, just the optics are weird.
The optics are so weird.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just being supportive.
Jesse,
yeah. Are you?
But then like I remember the last performance, I was like, I'm gonna watch this scene. So I just told them, I was like, I'm watching the shower scene from the side. Don't be freaked out.
I've never been in like a Broadway show. Because how long did that run?
We did 2 4-month runs with a little bit of a break in between.
What's that like? Is it like summer camp? That's what it feels like.
I mean, yeah, especially when it's, when you're doing nonprofit and you're not getting paid a ton of money. It definitely feels like you're actually paying them for the pleasure of acting. It does. I mean, listen, I love a rehearsal room so much. I love that process of putting a show together. I got to also do a one-man show on Broadway, and that was like cool to have done, but like the process of putting that together was no fun because I didn't have anyone else to share this experience with. Yeah. And it does feel like summer camp in that way. Like you just become really close, especially in a play where there's a lot of nudity. Like they're all these guys, the 9 guys who had to get naked on stage had such like a close connection because they shared this like weird thing that they had to do every night.
Yeah, and you have to like trust each other.
Yeah. And we all had each other's backs. And, when that leak did happen and there were some photos that were leaked on the internet, I was so upset for them. It was like, it takes a lot of bravery to go out and do that thing. And that should be a safe space. It's sacred space.
I feel like theater should be, any type of theater, stand-up as well should be a sacred space. Because sometimes people think it's a nice thing to like take a video of my set and then post it online. And sometimes they'll tag me. And when I see it, I'm like, do you mind taking it down because it's a work in progress? If it's not a special, it means I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
And people are like, usually they're like, oh my God, I didn't know. And I'm like, you can actually repost it without the sound. It's just, I don't.
Yeah.
Is not done. And then, especially like a play. I don't know how you could ever be on your phone during a live performance.
I know. The etiquette that I saw was shocking. There's some
awful.
Crazy shit that I saw.
And sometimes I'm like, do you think they can't see you?
Yeah.
Because it's like, you can mostly see like the first 4 or 5 rows.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And depending on the lighting, maybe all of the orchestra.
Yeah, we could see ya.
It's so wild.
And what we really can see is when you're looking at your phone and it's making your face glow.
Yeah.
We can see that all the way up in the rear.
Yeah, turn down the brightness. God, Take Me Out is such a good play.
Yeah.
Wait, what's your favorite play you've done?
Take Me Out would definitely be up there. I really enjoyed doing Spelling Bee, but honestly, there was a production of Comedy of Errors that I did in Central Park. Normally, it's a play about 2 sets of twins, and they get confused in this town they come into. And normally, the play is done with 4 actors playing these 2 sets of twins. But we did it where I played my set of twins, the Dromios, and Hamish Linklater played his set of twins, the Antipholuses. And so it was a lot of like running off stage and then like running under a tunnel underneath the stage and coming out the other side as the other person.
Oh my God.
It was so much fun to do.
I wonder if that would drive me crazy.
It was so much fun to figure out. And I the cardio I got in that summer
was probably bar none?
Bar none.
Next to none?
Next to nothing. Next to none. Next to bars.
Next to bar
nothing.
None. Next to? What am I trying to say?
I don't know, but I know where you're going.
Thank you.
I know what you're getting at. That's all that's important.
I want to do a musical, but I can't sing.
Oh, you can't sing?
No.
Not even a little?
No. Well, I have a voice
You can
teacher.
sing a little
His
bit.
name is Doug. And when I'm with Doug, out of the whole hour, I'll be on key like for 5 minutes. And then he'll be like, you can do it. Just keep practicing. And then I'll go home and be like, well, I can't find these keys alone. So I don't know how to remedy that.
Do you think you're tone deaf?
A little, but then like after we work for like an hour, I can hear and I can match the tones and the keys and stuff. I just can't do it on my own.
Let's try and sing this note.
Let's try and sing.
That's a harmony note, but that also sounds good.
Harmony note.
Yeah.
Bad.
No, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't the note I was singing.
Good. La 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 la.
But you sustained that note that you picked, and I think that's very impressive.
Oh, this is kind. This is kindness in action. Just lie to people and be like, that was good.
That was really good.
God, I just wish I could sing. I would make so much money. I would always be on some sort of tour.
Do you ever feel that, like, I know that there's a stereotype that, like, if you're Black, you can sing.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of Black people who can sing real well.
Yeah, and if you're fat and Black, you should be so soulful. And I'm over here with no soul. No. It's sad, Jesse.
I don't have any soul. I will tell you that much. I can sing, but without soul.
I don't know.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
You were right.
I auditioned for Rent, speaking of Rent.
Did you?
And it was like the widest.
Mark?
From Mark. I sang, and I said, what about Breakfast at Tiffany's, which is a song. It's a terrible song to sing. You can't act it. There's no. There's no.
That's very funny.
You're not.
I like
there's no
it.
range.
Wait, you don't have any advice onto getting into a relationship? You've been in a relationship for a long time.
Oh gosh. Okay. 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 Let me think. Oh Jesus, Nicole. All my advice. I'm just hearing myself before I say it. Just get out there.
Ugh.
Just get out there.
Yeah, that's pretty
Just
bad.
be the best version of yourself.
God.
I mean, isn't it terrible?
It really is.
You don't want my advice.
No, I don't. I guess I
No.
don't. But I guess being the best version of yourself is good.
Yeah, I know. Like, Nicole, when you're least looking for it, that's when it's going to show up. Wait, let me ask you. Don't people slide into your DMs? You're on TV.
Yeah.
It's not straight men.
It's not. Well, it doesn't have to be a straight man. I'm very open to like whatever. I don't have a label. I refuse to label myself because that's, I think, I don't know, not for me. Yeah, I just haven't had anyone slip in my DMs and I'm like, ooh, okay, let's do it.
Now, you talk about being single a lot on your podcast,
Yeah.
which I'm currently on. Do you don't think that, does this drum, like, have you looked at your comments on this?
Yeah, I look at the comments. People who are on usually get more people in the DMs being like, I can help you out with sex.
Right.
Yeah, but also, I don't worry about people being like, oh, I don't want to date her because she'll talk about me, because I say a lot that like whoever I date didn't ask to be a part of this.
Yeah.
So like if we're dating, I would ask you before I talked about you. Same with like my stand-up. I'm not trying to make anybody upset. Like my sister, I don't really talk about because she didn't ask for it.
Right. Did you talk about her at one point and she got upset?
No.
Okay.
I just was like, she didn't ask for this. Like,
so I've made the mistake of talking about family
really?
members and they're like,
no, thank you.
No, thank you.
I don't want that.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, she did say to me once, she was like, I can't imagine having your life. And I was like, huh, okay. And I was like, okay. I guess that's like, she doesn't want to be in the public eye. So it's like, I shouldn't
I get
thrust her out there.
I get it. I really wish I had some dating advice for you. I feel like I'm coming up short for you.
Do you have any single friends?
Well, God, that question too. I mean, yes, but this is what the thing is. They're single for a reason. Like
Well,
I wouldn't.
A recent divorce?
Well, no, that wouldn't be bad. But like, it's usually people that are some of my single friends. I'm like, oh, there's a reason. You're just real hard to date.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jesse.
I know. I'm so I
no
I don't,
advice. No single
Zero.
friends. The fuck?
This is unairable.
Get out!
What are pieces of advice that you've got that actually been helpful?
I think a good piece of advice is not dimming who you are when you meet somebody. Like not trying to be like, oh, do you want me less loud?
Yeah, I get that.
I'm just a loud lady and I'm a little strange.
Do you feel like you've ever done that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when...
And you feel like shit too when you're doing it.
Yeah, where I'm like, oh no, I really wanted to make a horse noise. I don't know. Sometimes you just want to be like, Burr!
Yeah.
On a date with somebody.
I mean, you said that a lot. You and your girlfriend went out and you got shit-faced and then it did not go well.
No.
I mean, I guess you could like maybe start, I was going to say, just start by like saying 2 drinks and then that's it.
Well, we did that at the first place we went to and then went to a second place where the bartender was a lot of fun. So we were like, let's keep drinking.
No, I get it. And you know what? You made the right choice.
Yeah. I did have a really fun time.
That's
and I did get this man's number, but we texted the next day and then never again. And then I really have had no other success going out into the world. Nobody's like doing that. I guess I should go to like singles mixers, but also... I don't know. Do I want to do that? Oh, Jesse. It's grim. It's grim and sad out there.
I know. I feel like gay men have it so easy sometimes because it's just like they just get it done.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Not the straights. The straights are like, oh, should we go out again? I'm like, yeah, let's go out again. Let's like get to know each other. So we have come to the end. Jesse, is there anything you want to promote?
Well, Nicole, since I'm on a podcast, and I hear podcasts are the most wonderful place to talk about your own podcast.
So wonderful.
I do have a podcast as well, as does everyone else in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a celebrity podcast, which has that been done? Has that
I
been
don't think
done yet?
so.
I think I'm cutting edge.
No.
No, it's called Dinners on Me, and I take my guests out to a dinner, and we have a conversation over a meal. And what I love about it, and it might give you, I want you on it actually at some point.
Ooh, okay.
But it might give you adjectives being a podcast host yourself, because we go into like restaurants and, we deal with the noise of the restaurant. We hear the waiter come over to the table and ask, what drinks we want, and he tells us the specials. And like, we get all that sound. You get mouth sounds. There's a lot of people who do not like the mouth sounds.
Oh.
I
mean,
we do our best. We do our best to edit those out. But yeah, it's a really great conversation over, a great meal. I feel like some of the best conversations
who pays for the meal?
Oh, dinner's on me. Yeah.
Okay.
But we have Sarah Paulson coming up. I took her to a restaurant in New York on her day off from her show. She's doing the show Appropriate on Broadway right now. So she gave me her day off, and she has a very strict routine. So I was like, I had one day to sort of fit in a great meal with her. George Takei is on, which is really exciting. We have, do you know Jinx Monsoon?
Of course I know Jinxie.
Jinxie.
Jinx is great. Just a lovely
Jinx.
time and just a wonderful person.
Yeah, Jinx is doing Little Shop of Horrors in New York right now. So I caught Jinx on her day off as well. So I've had from Modern Family, Sofía Vergara has been on, and Ed O'Neill, and Julie Bowen, and Sarah Hyland. So it's a lot of fun.
That does sound like fun.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Jesse, I asked all my guests this. Would you date me?
Oh, I would absolutely date you.
Yay! Jesse, thank you. Now find me a man. Okay. If you like this episode of Why Won't You Date Me, you can like it, you can rate it, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Mm-hmm. And if you write me something nasty, I've done this podcast for so long and I always fuck up the intro and outro. If you write me something nasty to whywon'tyoudate.me@gmail.com, I will read it. Also, don't send any dick pics. Mars doesn't want it. Okay, this one says, "Hi, Nicole. We're two queer men, and while we can't be the lovers for you, we think we can team up to help you fight wildfires across the United States. My boyfriend will fly the plane while I open the escape door and dangle you out of the plane so you can use your use your Hitachi wand and save the forest with your squirt. Also, question, is squirt pee?" Squirt is not pee, I don't think. Is it?
It comes from the same place, but genetically, I think it's a little different.
The same area. I thought we were talking about the soda.
Oh, that's very, very funny. No, this is human squirt. Ew, that's so weird. I wonder why they named that soda Squirt. I wonder if the man who made it was like, this tastes like my wife.
Oh, God. Nicole. By the way, Justin, we were in Vegas once. He got squirted on. We were at that stopped you dead in your tracks.
Wait, I needed to know the context.
He was at a club, and it was a gay club, but there was a girl getting herself pleasured by a man, and she was up on the back of a banquette, and they didn't realize this was happening, so she was up higher. She was like, her hoo-ha was eye level, and kind of it all happened so fast and all at once, and basically Justin like turned around, he's like, what is going on over there? And it like squirt on him. The end.
Oh my God. A drive-by squirting.
Drive-by squirting.
That is wild. I also love that it happened at like a gay club.
Yeah, but
She's
in
like,
Vegas.
Snuck in.
Yeah, in Vegas. Yeah, what happens in Vegas does not always stay in Vegas.
Does not stay in Vegas. It comes right on my podcast. God, that's delightful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Leave you with that. Bye-bye.